Amazing Bees, Buzzing with Bee Facts, packed with facts you need to read, by Sue Unstead. Our bee friends. Bees are amazing. They help flowers make fruits and seeds. They give us sweet honey. So let's find out what makes a bee so special. Chapter 1. What is a bee? A bee is an insect. Like all insects, it has 6 legs. It has a body made up of 3 parts. 1, 2, 3. It has 2 pairs of wings. Buzz, buzz, buzz. A bee beats its wings so fast it makes a buzzing sound. Close-up view. Let's zoom in close. A bee has a hairy body and face. It has 2 big eyes and 3 little ones. See the 3 right there. It has a very, very long tongue. On its back legs, there are little baskets to collect pollen. All these features help a bee do its job. From egg to bee. A bee starts life as a tiny egg inside a wax cell. A white grub called a larva hatches from the egg. The bees feed the larva lots of pollen. Goes from egg to larva to bee. It grows bigger and bigger in its cell. After many days, it becomes a pupa. The pupa changes slowly inside its cell. It comes out as an adult bee. Amazing bee facts. Bee math. Honeybees build honeycombs with 6-sided cells. Busy bees. Bees must visit 2 million flowers to make 1 jar of honey. Sweet story. A worker bee makes about 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey in its lifetime. Ouch! A bee will only sting if you disturb it, and only female bees have a stinger. Chapter 2. Bees and Flowers. A bee is a flower's best friend. It helps the flower make seeds to make more flowers. It also helps the flower make the fruit and crops we eat. The flower has food for the bees and larvae, sugary nectar and powdery pollen. Sweet nectar. A bee smells the flower and flies to it. It lands on the petal looking for the sweet, sugary juice. The bee uncurls its long tongue and dips it deep inside the flower. Sip, sip, sip. It sucks up the nectar. Petal signposts. Bees see colors differently from you and me. They can see blues and purples, yellows and oranges. These are usually their favorite colors. They can also see extra colors with their eyes. Sometimes the petals have markings that only a bee can see. These are like signposts for bees. This way for a sweet treat. A bee sees the yellow flower like this. Spreading pollen. A bee may visit more than 50 flowers during one trip. As the bee flies from flower to flower, pollen sticks to its hairy body. The bee combs some of the pollen into the baskets on its back legs. Some of the pollen sticks to the bee's hairy body. When the bee flies to other flowers, this pollen brushes off. Bee dancing. Bees are great dancers. They dance to tell other bees the news. Round dance. A bee dances in a circle. This means there is food close by. Waggly dance. The bee dances in a figure 8 shape. This is a waggly dance in the middle. It tells the other bees the way to the nectar. Chapter 3. Bee Families. The honeybee lives in a big family group. Each bee has its own special job to do. Beekeepers provide a home for the bees called a beehive. They can keep their bees safe and collect the honey. Beekeepers always leave enough honey for the bees to eat. Who's who in the hive? The biggest bee of all is the mother bee, called the queen. Her job is to lay eggs. Next in size are the drones, the male bees. All the rest of the bees are female, called the worker bees. Busy bees. The worker bees are busy night and day. Some feed pollen to the baby bees or larvae. Some look after the queen, feeding and grooming her. They make special food called royal jelly for the queen. Other workers guard the nest, keep it clean, and build new cells. Many workers fly out of the hive to find nectar and pollen. Wild bees. Wild honeybees can build their nest in a hollow tree, in a cave, or under a roof. They build a nest with wax cells. They make honey to store it for the winter. There are now fewer bees in the wild. This is sad news. All about honey. Honey is the only food made by insects that we can eat. When a bee brings nectar to the nest, it passes the nectar to the mouth of another bee. The nectar is passed from bee to bee. This turns it into honey. The bees store the honey in a wax cell that makes up a honeycomb. Chapter 4. Bee Spotting. Not all bees live in big groups like the honeybee. Some bees live alone and build their own special nests. Some bees build their nests in a crack in a wall or a hole in the ground. They lay their eggs and leave them to hatch. Builder bees. Some bees build unusual nests. If you see a mound of soil in the grass, it could be the door to the nest of a lawn bee. A carpenter bee chews a hole in the wood to make a nest. Look out for neat round holes in a leaf. A leafcutter bee may have made them. It builds a nest like a tube out of leaves and cuts a circle for a lid. Garden bees. One of the first bees you will see in spring is the bumblebee. They are hairy and striped and are bigger than honeybees. Bumblebees live in small family groups. They live in nests in the ground or in piles of dead leaves. Be a friend to bees. Bees are very important in helping plants make the food we eat. We can help bees by planting flowers in a pot or a window box. Why not leave a patch for wild flowers to grow in a garden at home or at school? Bees like flowers with lots of nectar and pollen. Here are some of them: bluebell, hollyhock, clover, daisy, lavender. Perhaps your school could have a beehive. Then you can eat lots of honey. And at the end, there's a bee quiz for you to take. And you find the answers on page 45. I hope you enjoyed the book.